Who businesses pay tax to is a complicated matter.
These companies have tentacles spreading all over the world, but many of them have chosen to have their headquarters in Ireland because the corporation tax there is much lower than lots of other countries.
The tax you pay on profits in the Republic of Ireland is 12.5%. That compares to 20% in the UK.
These companies turn over billions and billions, especially over a few years. So 7.5% times a big number is a large amount of tax. So that's why companies we've heard of like Google, Amazon, Starbucks have really planned this into their structures to take advantage.
So how have they been allowed to do this? Well, let me explain with an example. Let's say I have my own biscuit company and I have a turnover in the UK of £15 million a year. In other words, I've sold £15 million worth of biscuits to people in this country.
The fact I've sold my biscuits over the internet means I can choose where my home country is. So I've opted for Ireland. That means I don't pay any corporation tax in the UK. I then decide to open a shop selling the biscuits in the UK. As part of the deal, my company in Ireland charges my UK shop for using the name Steph's Biscuits. So much so, I haven't made much of a profit in the UK because it's all been spent on the licence. But of course, that licence money is going to my Ireland headquarters, so I'm making big profits there and pay the Irish corporation tax of 12.5%. The tax I pay in the UK is zero, and it's all perfectly legal. After all, Ireland's in the EU and companies can choose where to put their business. What matters is whether I've got a real business there. And if I have, well, that's fine.
What the Treasury's really worried about is when the money doesn't stay in Ireland but is moved again to somewhere sunny like the Bahamas, where the rate of tax there is zero. That's changing. Under this new regime, companies will have to pay a 25% levy on any profits that HMRC thinks has been artificially diverted from the UK. But will it work?
The UK have been leading a project with international tax led by the OECD for the last 2 years, and this project is due to finish at the end of this year. Well, the UK have gone out on its own to bring in the diverted profits tax before this wider project has finished. And I think that that's just the wrong approach. International tax problem needs an international solution.
The Treasury hopes to net over £3 billion through this and other tax crackdowns. But given the UK economy is driven by huge multinational companies, there's some concern that being tougher on tax in the UK may do more harm than good. Steph, McGovern, BBC News.